Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to go through the examples in exercise 20A. Now make sure you still study all the class notes because this video is just going to be me basically just purely going through the examples and how to do these sorts of questions rather than getting really deep into the explanation behind the things. So let's get into it. Alright, where's my pen? Here. Okay, draw a diagram and state the sign of the given ratio. Alright, so remember, when we label these angles on our unit circle or in our cast diagram, it's always going to be from the positive side of the x-axis. That's our angle. So if we have sine 150 degrees, well, let's label our cast diagram like this. Let's put that there. All right, and 150 degrees would take us about here somewhere. Just approximate is fine. Right now, since this is in the sine quadrant, all right, sine 150 is positive. All right, and that's all we want here. All right, let's do tan 300. So again, let's draw up our cast diagram. And 300 degrees, so again, start from the positive x-axis. Around, that's 90, that's 180, oh, that's 270. So that means 300 degrees must be in the fourth quadrant here. And in this quadrant, well, tan is negative. So tan 300 degrees is negative. Okay, and that's that one. Let's do cos 210. So again, cast. This will become automatic as you do a bit more practice. So see how long it takes you to memorize these. Cos 210, so 210 is going to be, well, that's 180. 210 is 30 degrees past 180, so it has to be in here. So this is the tan quadrant, so that means cos in this quadrant is going to be negative. All right, let's move on. The next one's pretty easy. We're just using a calculator, so nothing too difficult here. Now, I do want to make sure that see this DEG where my cursor is here. That's where you want. That's what you want your calculator to be in. So either go into menu settings, or I think you can just hover over it and click it. If that doesn't work though, you might have to go into Doc, Settings and Status, Document Settings. And then this angle here, just switch, if it's in radians or something else, just switch it to degrees, all right? And then we're good to go. So sine 100, so make sure your angle is in brackets. I know why I'm doing that. So sine 100, 0.9848. All right, these are all approximations, by the way. So tan 320, negative 0.8394. 8391. All right, and just quickly, see how sine 100 degrees is in the second quadrant, and sine is positive in the second quadrant, so that's why the answer is positive. Now for B, tan 320 degrees is in the fourth quadrant, and that's where tan is negative, so that's why the answer here is negative. And let's just think about cos 200. All right, what quadrant is it in? Okay, third quadrant. So that means cos, the answer here should give us a negative value, which it does. So negative 0.9397. All right, there we go. So just make sure your calculator's in the right mode, and you're also kind of thinking about whether or not your answer actually makes sense in regards to your cast diagram and your unit circle. Okay, a few more. Let's have a look at some exact values now. I will, this is, if you haven't seen it before, this is the way I show you how to memorize these exact values. So draw up, I'll do it from scratch here so you can see, excuse my odd table size. So basically 4 by 4. Alright, leave this thing blank, and then basically I go sine, cos, tan, and then across the top I go in increasing order 30, 45, 60, so start at 30 and go up by 15 degrees each time. It'll start getting easier to remember as you do more. Now, from here, okay, I start at the top here and I go 1, 2, 3, and then for cos, from left to right, I go 3, 2, 1. And then that makes it easier for me to remember. Alright, just 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Because all of these are going to be over 2. And all the numerators can be square rooted. Now, we don't need to write square root 1 because that's just 1, right? So all we need to do is put some square roots on the 2's and the 3's. Alright, and there's your exact value. So this is what you want to memorize. Let's do tan. Now remember, tan is sine divided by cos. So if you forget, you can always just take your sine value and divide it by your cos value. Or you can remember it this way. Tan goes from smallest to biggest. So root 3 on 3 is smallest, then 1, and then root 3 is the largest of those three values. So smallest to biggest. Okay, because root 3 is approximately 1.7 something. Okay, so that's how you can, that's a quick way you can construct your exact value table. I find that a lot of my students in the past prefer to do this rather than drop triangles, because that could be a lot more time consuming. So whichever way works for you, that's just another way you can do it. Okay, so this is something you want to memorize. This will not be given in any exam or any formula sheet. Alright, so basically this just helps you without a calculator to find a lot of trigonometric functions for other angles as well. So very important table. You'll see soon here. Alright, example 3. Okay, without evaluating, express each number as the trigonometric function of an acute angle. Okay, so basically we want to find the related angle of each trigonometric function, and then we want to say whether that's positive or negative by looking at what quadrant it's in. So it'll be a good idea to draw a diagram for these ones. So for A, if we have sine 130 degrees, first of all, let's locate 130. Now you can keep putting in your cast. Alright, but 130 is 40 degrees into the second quadrant here. Alright, now the related angle, the acute angle that we want, is always this one, the one with the positive x-axis. Always, every single time, you'll get used to this. So that means if this angle from here is 130, then this one is 50. So what that means is sine 130 is going to equal sine 50. And it's still going to remain positive because we're still in, this angle is still in the S quadrant. Okay? Now B, cos 200, let's just repeat this. And I'll just keep reiterating the same processes so eventually it'll sink in a bit quicker. So cos 200, let's locate 200. That's here, 20 degrees into the third quadrant. All right, now we do want this angle here. It's the angle with the x-axis, 20 degrees. That means cos 200 degrees is going to have the same value as cos 20 degrees, but since this is in the t quadrant, it'll just be negative. Okay, because that's all they want here. We don't need to evaluate that right now. Okay, tan 325. Let's try this. So 325, so remember that's 180, halfway, and then 270 is 3/4, so 325 must be in here somewhere. All right, now a full circle is 360, so that means this angle needs to be 35 degrees if we were to make a full circle, right? So since we're in the C quadrant, any tan is going to be negative, right? So tan 325 is going to have the same value as tan 35, however, it'll just be negative. Hope you're seeing some patterns now. Okay, and lastly, sine 235. So let's locate that. ASTC 235. Sorry. Well, that's not quite to 270, but it's bigger than 180, so it has to be here. So we're in this quadrant, and the angle with the x-axis it makes is, so 180 plus 55 is 235, so that's 55 degrees. Now, that means that sine 235 has the same value as sine 55, except it'll be negative because we're in the t quadrant. All right? So you understand that concept. Trigonometric functions will start getting a lot easier for you. Let's do example 4. Okay, so now we're basically doing the same thing as example 3, but this time we're using our memorized exact value table. I'm not going to refer back to it, so you can though, and you can double check these values. All right, but I'm going to show you we can do this straight, all from memory and from conceptual understanding. Okay, use the related angle to find the exact value of sine 120. So eventually, you can make the process a bit shorter, but for now, when you first start learning this, it's a good idea to draw the table, draw the cast diagram, locate your angle. So 120 would be here. Now, then you ask yourself, okay, what is the angle this makes with the x-axis, the acute angle it makes with the x-axis? That's 60. All right, you want that because 60 degrees is in your exact value table. So then we go sine 120 will have the same value as sine 60. Now, it's going to stay positive because we're in the sine quadrant, we're in the S quadrant. And sine 60 has a value of root 3 on 2. And we're done. Let's do B. Okay, just draw up these. Now I'll just draw them one at a time. Okay, cos 150. Now where's 150? Well, 150 is here in the second quadrant again. But this time the acute angle it makes with the x-axis is 30 degrees. So that means the related angle is 30 degrees for cos 150. So cos 150 is going to have the same value as cos 30, but we're in the S quadrant, so cos is going to be negative. And from our table, all right, cos 30 is root 3 on 2, but this is going to be negative root 3 on 2. Okay, tan 300. Let's try this. So let's locate 300. ASTC. 300 is all the way over here. Now, if that's 300, then we have 60 degrees left to travel to get to where we started. So that's the related angle is 60. So tan 300 is going to have the same value as tan 60, but it's just going to be negative. And tan 60 is root 3. So it's just going to be negative root 3. Okay, so this doesn't get too hard once you start really repeating it over and over again. And you look for, and you just know the process. Okay, and then cos 240, let's locate that. All right, 240 is in here. The angle it makes, the acute angle it makes here, the related angle is 60 degrees. All right, because 180 plus 60 is 240. So cos 240 is going to have the same value as cos 60, but it's in the t quadrant, so it'll be negative. So cos 60 is half. All right, so the answer is going to be negative half. All right, there you have it. So really study that. Really make sure you go over the notes we did in class so that you've got some background understanding first. And we're going to take this further very shortly. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.